kids, how are you? Man, I am so glad that we're all together here in Grace Kids. Well, okay, so we're here together in my office. But you know what? It is the third week of June, and hopefully you guys are having a fantastic summer. I know I am, because we're finding out what it means to get in the mix and live every day with confidence. You remember what confidence is, don't you? It's learning to see yourself the way that God sees you. I mean, how do you think God sees you? In other words, what do you think God thinks about you? Well, let me tell you, He thinks you're amazing. He thinks that you are totally unique and totally special. And He knows there's no one else in the world like you because He made you in the first place. So you and I can live every day with confidence when we remember just how much He loves us. But you know what? We'll talk about that some more in a few minutes. Right now, I have got a great way for us to kick the day off with, and that is this really fun game of pointless trivia. Check it out. Well, that was amazing. You know what? I love the fact that we get to hang out and have some fun, have some games, but I love it even more when we can come together and spend some time worshiping God together. So let's jump up on our feet and let's sing this next song out here together.
stop singing your praise, singing your praise. I can't stop, won't stop, never gonna stop singing your praise, singing your praise. I can't stop, won't stop, never gonna stop singing your praise, singing your praise. I can't stop, won't stop, never gonna stop singing your praise.
Well, that was fun, and thanks for singing out on that song with us. But right now, instead of press play, can we press pause? And let's take just a minute to spend some time in prayer, okay? Now, you remember what prayer is, right? Yeah, prayer is when we talk to who? God. And how does God speak to us? Through the Bible. You guys are awesome. You never forget those two things, all right? Because that'll help you the rest of your life. But right now, wherever you're watching this from, let's bow our heads together and let's spend some time praying and talking to God, okay? Lord Jesus, we thank you for the day. Thank you for loving us and saving us and allowing us this opportunity to meet with so many kids virtually here online, whether they're here in Ohio or anywhere in the United States or possibly even around the world. It's awesome that we get to hang out together and learn more about you and your plan for our life. And so, God, today I'm asking you to help me with this lesson about confidence. And Lord, it's so important for these kids to understand how to see themselves the way that you see us. And so I pray that you'll give me the words that I need to clearly communicate to these kids this important lesson. So meet with us here today. We want to sing one more song, and it's just our way of saying thank you and we love you. And then we're going to dive into the lesson and we ask for your help. So we pray these things in your name. Amen. All right, kids, one more song, and then we're going to get into the lesson. And by the way, we got a special guest today.
Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Press play!
Jesus, we know we belong here because of your love for us that goes on and on forever. Jesus, we know you are with us wherever we go. You're there, we'll always be together.
So sing along with me for all the joy he brings.
It's going down. Get in the mix.
We're not stopping.
Get in the
The
mix.
party's hopping.
Get in the mix.
Everybody say, it's time to press play.
Get in the
The
mix.
beat is dropping.
Get in the mix.
Feet are stomping.
Get in the mix.
Everybody say, it's time to press play.
Oh, oh, oh.
Press play. Press play.
Jesus, we know we belong here because of your love for us that goes on and on forever. Jesus, we know you are with us wherever we go. You're there, we'll always be together.
So sing along with me for all the joy he brings.
It's going down. Get in the mix.
We're not stopping.
Get in the
The
mix.
party's hopping.
Get in the mix.
Everybody say, it's time to press play.
Get in the
The
mix.
beat is dropping.
Get in the mix.
Feet are stomping.
Get in the mix.
Everybody say, it's time to press play.
Oh, oh, oh.
Press play.
Oh, oh, oh.
Press play.
Oh, oh,
Press play.
oh.
Press play. All right. We're gonna break it down one time, y'all. You gotta sing it out with all you got. Y'all ready? Come on. Clap your hands like this. Have confidence. confidence to get in the mix. Clap your hands like this. Have confidence to get in the mix. Now clap your hands like this. Like this. Have confidence to get in the mix. Now clap your hands like this. Like this. Everybody get in the mix.
Get in the mix.
We're not stopping.
Get in the
The
mix.
party's stopping.
Get in the mix.
Everybody say it's time to press play.
Get in the
The
mix.
beat is dropping.
Get in the mix.
Feet are stomping.
Get in the mix.
Everybody say it's time to press play.
Oh, oh, get in the mix.
Press play.
Oh, get in the mix.
Press play. Press play. Press play.
Well, this is my favorite time of the week for sure. Not just hanging out with you, but getting to check out a story from the Bible together and seeing what it has to do with our daily lives. I'm going to tell you, today's story, it's a doozy, but it's one of my favorites. The main guy in our story today had a ton of confidence in God, and you'll see in just a minute. But first, I want to make sure that you're ready for the way that we get to tell the story today. You know, so far this month, we've had some pop songs, some opera songs, so it just makes sense that we'll tell this story with some hip hop. I'm telling you today, we get to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Grace Kids. Give it up for DJ PJ. He's going to be with us here in just a minute. Well, listen, let me set the scene for you, okay? This story took place when there were kings ruling God's people, the Israelites. Now, unfortunately, many of those kings didn't listen to God. So God sent prophets to try to talk to the kings and encourage them to follow God. But often the kings didn't pay any attention. One of these kings was named Ahab. Ahab never listened to God. In fact, he even built statues and temples for a false god called Baal. Well, God sent a prophet who you are familiar with. His name is Elijah. And he sent Elijah to deliver a message to Ahab to see if this stubborn king would finally listen. Well, Elijah told King Ahab that there wouldn't be any dew or rain for a long time until God said so. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. For 3 whole years, there was a drought in the land. Well, Ahab could see that something had to be done, and he was desperate. However, instead of turning to God, he sent his wife Jezebel to hunt down all of the remaining prophets of God. Well, because Jezebel was out there hunting down prophets, Elijah took off and hid in a cave for a lot of those 3 long years. But God was with Elijah, and God sent him food and water while he was waiting. Well, you know what? Here to break it down for us a little bit better, let's give it up for DJ PJ. God in all his wisdom trying to talk some sense to a king called Ahab, cause things were getting tense. A tiny little man sitting on his throne, never listening to God but trying to do it on his own. Jezebel and Ahab, a very odd couple, getting themselves into all kind of trouble, building up a statue to a false god. If you think that's silly, I wanna see you nod. Elijah told the king no rain was gonna fall, no hoping or wishing was gonna change a thing at all. 3 whole years, not a cloud in the sky. Jezebel and Ahab finally asking why. Elijah spoke the truth, but Ahab wouldn't listen. He thought he knew it all, but there was something he was missing. You think the king was right? You got it figured out? There's only one God who's gonna save you from this drought. Yeah, word. Woohoo, man. DJ PJ spitting out some fire. I don't know what is it about that guy that, I just really like him. He seems, so inspiring. Such a handsome guy. Well, let's continue. In the third year of the drought, God spoke to Elijah, and he told Elijah to go speak to Ahab. After he did, God would send some rain on the land. Well, God gave Elijah a plan to show once and for all who was the one true God. So Elijah told Ahab to gather all the people and prophets of Baal and meet him on Mount Carmel. If the conversation between Elijah and Ahab had been a rap battle, I think it might have sounded something like this. Hit it, DJ PJ. Is that you, troublemaker of the land? Can't stand the heat. Now what's your big plan? My God Baal's gonna open up the skies while you and your God are eating fries at Five Guys. I haven't made trouble and I haven't given up. How's the drought going? You need God to interrupt? Come bring all your prophets. Let's put this to the test. Let's see once and for all whose God is the best. Let's be real, you're gonna fall flat. We've got a statue, can your God compete with that? Oh yeah, he might have done things back in the day, but he's like the Skywalkers far, far away. It's about time that we go toe to toe. I'll use small words and I'll talk really slow. Come to Mount Carmel in a couple of days, then we'll see whose praise brings down the blaze. Yeah, it's getting real. Man, it was on. I mean, on like Donkey Kong, because King Ahab sent a message to everyone in the land, and the word got out pretty quick about this showdown between he and Elijah. So all the people of Israel and the 450 prophets of Baal gathered on Mount Carmel. Elijah then called out to the people, and here's what he said in 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 21. He said, "How long will it take you to make up your minds? If the Lord is the one and only God, worship him. But if Baal is the one and only God, worship him." Well, the people were silent. So Elijah went on and explained what would happen next. He told the people to get 2 bulls for a sacrifice. Well, the prophets of Baal could choose the bull they wanted and put it on the wood, and Elijah would do the same thing with the other bull. But neither of them would set a fire. Instead, they would pray. Elijah said this in verse 24, "You pray to your God, and I'll pray to the Lord. The God who answers by sending fire down is the one and only God." Well, the people thought this was a pretty good idea. I mean, it would show whose God was the one true God. So the prophets of Baal prepared a bull as a sacrifice and placed it on the altar to Baal. Well, from morning to noon, the prophets danced around the altar, calling on their false god to light the bull on fire. You know, if those prophets could rap, it might have sounded something like this. You say in the beginning your God was the creator. You say that he is mighty. You say there's no one greater. Well, if that's the truth, then how will you debate me? What has your God been doing for us lately? Take a look around. It's 1 against 450. There's no way in the world that you can make this wood crispy. Fellas, grab the bull. It's time to get turned. I think we know which one of us is about to get burned. You'll stand there in a trance in your dirty khaki pants and watch our fire rain before you even have a chance. Come on, raise your hands, Baal's gonna avalanche. Check your thermostats while we do our fire dance. Oh no, I'm shaking in my sandals. You'd have better luck trying to light a birthday candle. Need to phone a friend? Voice a complaint? I don't even see a spark. Are you about to faint? No burning, no flames, no smoke, and no fire. Maybe Baal's asleep, or maybe he's a liar. You think he's in the bathroom, or maybe on vacation? All I hear is static. I gotta change the station. You wanna call him up? Here, use my phone. What's that your God said? Leave a message at the tone. I'll wait until the people see your mad cowardice. Cause all for your vocal power, your God is powerless. That's right. After all this dancing and shouting and carrying on, Elijah, well, he'd had enough. So he took 12 large rocks and rebuilt an altar to the Lord. He placed the bull on the altar along with some wood. And then he told several of the Israelites to dump 4 large jars of water on the offering and on the wood. He asked them to do the same thing again and then a third time. It was so much water that it flowed down and it filled the trench near the altar. So I'm guessing he did this just to prove a point, that God would light this fire even if the wood and the bull were soaking wet. Listen to what Elijah prayed in verses 36 and 37. He says, Lord, you are the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Today, let everyone know that you are God in Israel. Let them know that I'm your servant. Let them know I've done all these things because you commanded me to. Answer me, Lord, answer me. These people will know that you are the one and only God. They'll know that you are turning their hearts back to you again. Well, when Elijah finished this prayer, I'm telling you, fire shot down out of the sky and it torched the bull and the wood and evaporated the water. All the people saw it and they cried out, the Lord is the one and only God. Well, the prophets of Baal tried to escape, but the Israelites captured them. Elijah said to King Ahab in verse 41, go, eat and drink. I can hear the sound of a heavy rain. And wouldn't you know it, a cloud appeared. Then all of a sudden the skies were black and just filled all over the horizon. And this heavy rain fell for the first time in 3 years. I tell you what, DJ PJ, could you just bring all this home for us one last time? The king and the prophets of Baal, worshiping a false god from a fairy tale. All of the people were amazed at what happened. All of the people stood up and started clapping. The one true God brought the fire and the rain, while the other false prophets were never seen or heard again. Our God from above, he brought the fire down and he showed all the people Baal was just a phony clown. 3 long years turned around in a moment. Skies raining buckets down on his opponents. God had a plan and that plan worked out. And now you kids know exactly what we're talking about. When something seems impossible, don't wear a frown. Remember, God is with you and nothing keeps him down. So just like Elijah, give God some praise. Don't ever forget that he is with you always. DJ PJ, checking out. Good to see you, kids. Peace. Okay, can we just give it up one more time for DJ PJ? I mean, that was sick. Well, listen. As the rain continued to fall, Elijah, he raced ahead of Ahab's chariot all the way back to the city. See, God had done the impossible. He brought fire down from the heavens and ended the 3-year drought. And he showed everyone that he really is the one true God. So kids, here's the bottom line today. Never forget this. God can do the impossible. Listen, no matter what's happening in your life, no matter how impossible things may seem, you can have confidence because God is always, always in control. He's right there with you in the good times, the tough times, and everything in between.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how he created us and loves us so much that he made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of 1 Kings. Chapter 18.
Israel was ruled by many kings who didn't listen to God, but King Ahab was the very worst. He even built a temple to a false god.
Everybody worship Baal. He is very great because, I don't know, he can make it rain and stuff. Woot!
But the Lord sent a prophet named Elijah to deliver a message to King Ahab.
As the Lord lives, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word.
You pipsqueak. Baal can make it rain. Also, off with your head.
Elijah quickly departed the palace, and at the Lord's direction, he escaped and hid east of the Jordan River. For 3 years, there was no rain in Israel.
Impossible. I won't allow it. Baal, make it rain this instant.
Crops failed, rivers and brooks dried up. King Ahab was desperate. In fact, his wife Jezebel even hunted down most of the prophets of God that were left in Israel.
Off with their heads.
But through it all, God provided food and water for Elijah. In the 3rd year of the drought, God spoke to Elijah again.
Go, speak to Ahab. Then I will send rain on the land.
You do realize he wants to kill me? Okay, here goes.
As Elijah traveled to the palace, he met King Ahab on the road.
Is that you, you troubler of Israel?
I haven't made trouble for Israel. You have.
Yeah, well, I'm rubber your glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you.
You've abandoned the Lord and followed Baal.
What else? He's more popular.
You want a showdown? Fine. Gather all the people and meet me on Mount Carmel. Oh, and bring all the prophets of Baal.
Oh, you're on.
King Ahab sent a message throughout the land, and the Israelites gathered on Mount Carmel, along with 450 of the prophets of Baal.
How long will you go back and forth between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal's God, follow him. I'm the only prophet of the Lord left, but Baal has 450 prophets. Hey, get 2 bulls for us. Let Baal's prophets prepare one of the bulls and place it on an altar to Baal, but not light it. I'll put the other bull on an altar to the Lord. The God who answers by fire, well, he is God.
What you say is good.
The prophets of Baal prepared a bull as a sacrifice and placed it on the altar to Baal.
Baal, this is for you. Light this bull on fire. Hey, Baal, answer us.
From morning until noon, the prophets of Baal danced around the altar, calling on their false god.
Hey, shout louder. Maybe he's asleep or on a trip.
The prophets of Baal danced harder and shouted louder all through the afternoon, but there was still no answer. At last, Elijah stood up.
Enough! Come here to me.
Elijah took 12 large stones and rebuilt an altar to the Lord. Then he took the bull and sticks of wood and placed them on the stones and dug a deep trench around the entire altar. He turned to several of the Israelites and said,
Fill 4 large jars with water and pour it on the offering and the wood.
You do know wet wood doesn't burn, right?
Just do it. Now do it again. Do it a 3rd time.
The wood became so wet, water even flowed down the altar and filled the trench.
Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let everyone know that you are the one true God. Answer me, Lord, so these people will know that you are God and that you are turning their hearts back again.
There was a long moment of silence. Everyone waited, breathless. And then, fire fell from heaven onto the altar and instantly burned up the wet wood and the sacrifice, even licking up the water in the trench. The people fell on their faces.
The Lord is God!
Terrified, the prophets of Baal tried to escape, but were captured and wiped out. Elijah turned to King Ahab.
Go, eat and drink, for there is the sound of a heavy rain.
Though the sky was completely clear, in a short time a tiny cloud appeared. More clouds joined the first. They turned dark and black. The wind rose, and fat, drops of rain splattered onto the dry earth for the first time in 3 years. Filled with God's strength and joy, Elijah raced ahead of King Ahab's chariot to the city. God had done the impossible.
I don't know about you guys, but to me, that story is just absolutely incredible. I mean, can you imagine actually seeing fire shoot down from the sky? I mean, you wouldn't believe it if you saw it. It seems so impossible. But see, that's just the thing. God can do the impossible. Even if we think there's absolutely no way something can happen, God can do it. Just think about all the miracles that Jesus did. Walking on the water, feeding an entire crowd of people with just one boy's meal, and the biggest miracle of all, when he died and then came back to life. Yeah. Now look, there might be some situations in your life that seem impossible. Having trouble with another kid in the neighborhood. Maybe feeling stuck because of something that's wrong at home. You know, right now, an impossible situation, or seemingly impossible situation for me, is that my brother is fighting brain cancer and I'm praying for a miracle. And you know what? It's not always easy, but you and I can make the choice to trust God and believe that He's with us. And you can stop and remind yourself that He is always in control. He's got a great plan for your life, and He's there to help you even when you feel down and discouraged. Well, our memory verse this month goes so well with today's lesson, so I want to remind us about it one more time. It's Psalm 27:13, and it says, I remain confident of this, I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And it's true. We will see God's goodness right here and now. It doesn't mean that things will always go exactly the way we planned, but if we learn to trust God, we'll see His goodness even when things around us seem impossible. And we'll find that we really can trust Him no matter what. Well, you know what? We've got to wrap this thing up, but I want to give you some dates to remember. July 19th through the 23rd. Write them down. Check it out. These dates are on our church website, on the Grace app. They're on our Grace Kids Facebook page, because July 19th through the 23rd is Vacation Bible School, and we are going to go ahead and kick off this whole series that we've been talking about now for June and July. Press play, get in the mix. So mark those dates down. It's going to be a blast. We want you to get registered and ready to have some major fun. All right, kids? Well, look, you know the routine. We got to go, but for right now, right hand up in the air, high five. I'll see you soon.